Welcome to the presentation of the alpha version of SiteSpy, a rollout tool simplified. The development of SiteSpy was initiated by the observations from many telco rollouts. In these rollouts, it showed that no rollout tool was implemented. Maybe it was because they were found to be too complex, or also they were found to be too expensive. Anyway, the impact of having no rollout tool was severe, and it was also jeopardizing the project outcome. You would see the usual Excel spreadsheet held in the organization. Every project member worked on his own homemade tool. There were no centralized data, and data was not updated at all times and available to every project member. It gave a lot of frustration in the organization, and also employees were overloaded by having access to too many data and losing overview. Where can you use a rollout tool? Well, you can use it wherever you have a process that can be phase divided and can be divided into milestones. You can use it where you have a lot of repetitions of that same process, for instance, in the construction of telecom sites in a telecom network, or construction of a series of equal houses, standard houses, etc. You can use it where you have a baseline that can be defined for the typical imagined scenario. Especially, I'm thinking about definitions of time and schedule, economy and cost, and equipment and scope. You can also use it where you want employees focusing on actionable data, where you want employees getting notified with upcoming action points, and wherever you want a system limit to need to know information and hence reducing cost. In short, where you want to have control. For those of you who don't know what a baseline is, I have shown one here. This picture shows a one-shot picture of a rollout baseline. You can see that the milestones and scope are shown, the timeline is shown, the activities and deliverables for each milestone is shown, and you also have the economy and cost that is connected to each milestone. You define, like I mentioned before, you define a baseline for each site in a rollout. For instance, for one house in a 587 house rollout. When you go on in the project, each site can then later be compared against this baseline. Progress and overall performance can be measured, and deviations will show. In the demo I'm going to show you shortly, you will see a demo where the setup is based on a simple imagined baseline for a telecom greenfield site rollout. The setup is based on 6 milestones. It is set up on the according time schedule, and also the costs that are connected to the underlying scope of each milestone. Let's go ahead. So let's start it up. The first picture or screen you will see in SiteSpy is an overview or a status screen. If you refresh the status, it takes a little while to go through the whole database, but here it is. First of all, you have a graphical overview about the whole status with a little dashboard representing each of the 6 milestones in this particular project. It shows how many sites are already closed and how many yet to go. It also shows you a total about how many sites are in this project. It shows you an accumulated progress schedule. How many days are we in total ahead, or how many days are we in total behind? And also regarding economy, it shows the accumulated figure for the whole project. And luckily here we can see in this project here, we are rolling out cheaper than expected. When we start up this rollout tool, a database is initiated for the total number of sites to start with. But as we go on, you can have the need for adding more sites to the project. We can do that. In this screen here, we can add a new site. Let's go and try and do that. So let's see here. We pick a site. Okay. We have defined that each site here has to be configured with 4 digits. So let's try again. We pick a site, and then we pick a start date for the site. And we also have to assign a project manager or an implementation manager for this site. So if we refresh the status here, we can see, voila, we have one more site here in total. The whole meaning of having a rollout tool is to have more control of the project, more overview. The two most important things here to control is the schedule rollout and also the cost of each site. Let's see how we can update the schedule or the progress for a certain site. Let's take the site we just inserted before. The data we get up here is the actual expected closing dates for each milestone. As we haven't closed any milestones yet, what we see here is actually the dates that is defined by the baseline. And as expected, we are on target because we are following the baseline. But let's say that we have finished the first milestone and we want to close it off. So let's do that. We see that we are expected to close it off on the 12th of December, but let's try to be a little ahead. We say we finish on Friday that week. We pick the date and we pick the phase to close. Now we have closed off the particular phase. We see that the date of the closing date of this milestone here is updated, and also the following milestones are updated based on that actual closing date for the milestone. And we also see that now we cannot go in and insert any dates in the milestone we have actually closed. And also said before, we can also input the cost for each site. And if we take the site, again, the same site, again, what we get up here is actually the cost for each milestone according to the baseline. And we are on target as expected. Let's close off again. We have just closed off before the first milestone, so let's also close the cost for this milestone. Let's say we are just a little bit more expensive on this milestone. Close it off. So now we can see that it is updated with the amount. It is closed, no more inputs can be made, and the total cost of the site is updated. And we can now see also on this side we are over target. Just remember that we were just 2,000 more expensive on this site so far. So we can again update here, and we can see that we were updated with the total amount here. And since we were well ahead before, we are just a little less ahead now. So all is good and updated. We have built in a report function here. A lot of people are maybe not exactly working in the same office. You're going to have a lot of field personnel going around. You can also have a need to report to key persons around the project, or maybe also you have some reports you want to send to your contractors or your partners around the project. Let's see how we do it. We just select whatever report we want to send, and in this instance here we want to send a progress report to Tim. So now it's sent. And how does it function then? Well, here you see Tim has just got a mail where he's notified by that the progress report is generated by SiteSpy and sent to you, and please take the appropriate action. And appended to the mail is the actual report. It can be defined as needed, but usually it will be something like this, where you have urgent issues that you want someone to take action on, and you have some upcoming events that needs to have focus, and also you have what is the current economy. And again, here you have an overview that you can send to people. Well, so far so good. Well, now we have just seen a demo based on an imagined scenario. SiteSpy can be set up to match almost any need regarding number of milestones, control outputs, reporting functions, etc. But it is strongly advised to keep the tool set up simple, so it is still easy to use and the intended overview is not lost. Already now there are some future features that we have been thinking about. For instance, imagine that tasks can be issued on tablets and PDAs. It can be, for instance, to external field crews, external construction companies and partner companies, etc. And what you also can build in is that the milestones can be closed on the tablets by external staff and partners. They can close the milestones remotely. Also, documentation can be demanded via the tablets and PDAs. For instance, photos can be asked to be taken before milestones can be closed. You can imagine that, for instance, if you have to erect a tower, a telecom tower on a site, or the foundations on a house, for instance, you can then ask the construction company to take pictures of the actual foundation before they can close the milestone. This documentation will then be time-stamped and also be stamped with the actual geolocation. And this data will then automatically be uploaded to the system from the tablet and PDA. So no possibility for external partners to cheat here. Smart, right? Well, this was it for now. Thanks for watching. Let SiteSpy make your rollout easier for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.